Yo, so I hope all you little bastards had a wonderful Christmas. I'm sorry, but I gotta be a little Grinch-ass motherfucker here and say that I did not have a good Christmas. I was deathly ill with the controversial Facebook virus that I can't bear to utter the name of, so I didn't have shit to do the entire time. And that got me thinking, this has got to be the work of some kind of supervillain who just wants to see me suffer. And with the perfect timing of 11:03 coming out a couple days ago, a little light bulb went off in my head. This is St. J. Garcia Saturn's doing. Not really. He's not real, at least I hope. But holy shit, this dude is evil. He's devious, heinous, you name it. He is it. You know what? Him being this awful really makes me realize I'm fucking stupid. I may have a good take like 1 out of every 200 or so takes. So, you know, I'm shooting 0.25% from the field or so, something like that. I really said that the Gorosei may not even be that bad, and they're just puppets used by Eam with no will of their own. Boy oh boy, I couldn't have been more wrong there. This fucker Saturn goes out of his way to be as horrible as possible on his own time. It's literally all he does. It's his favorite hobby. He's really living up to being a celestial dragon. He may not be as ugly and as stupid as the average grunt civilian celestial dragon, but holy shit, he definitely is one, and is even worse than them. It makes me genuinely worried as to what the other Gorosei have up their sleeves in the future, if the fucking science one is doing shit like this. But anyway, let's go storyline-wise to the point where Saturn appears for the first time in the One Piece world from what we've seen so far, and that is on God Valley. I'm sure we're probably gonna end up seeing him in the Void Century or some shit, but for now, this is the young spring chicken Saturn, even though he looks the fucking same, he's an old little fuck. He was technically like 40 years younger here. And it appears that Saturn was the only Gorosei to actually be on God Valley at the time, the only one that we see. It seems that he was just there to chill and enjoy the show. You know, that sick fuck. But as we know, God Valley didn't really go as planned, and of course, Saturn's bitch ass makes his way to Kuma, and that's where they both met their lifelong enemies. At least for Kuma. Pretty much the second that Saturn found out that Kuma was a buccaneer and he loved Nika and he had the courage to actually stand up to someone of Saturn's status, it became Saturn's mission to make Kuma's life as horrible as possible. Quite literally, every inconvenience in Kuma's life is directly caused by Saturn. And we'll get into all those things as they happen. So obviously Kuma ends up escaping God Valley and all that because of his fucking devil fruit. But Saturn isn't just letting that kid get away. He could have killed him at God Valley if he wanted to, but he wants to make that little buccaneer boy suffer his entire fucking life. Killing him and putting him out of his misery right then and there is just too easy and too forgiving. It's almost like when you see a little ant on the sidewalk or a little fly and you start picking off their wings and doing psychopathic shit. I did that once as a kid. My dad was like, yo, don't do that, that's fucking weird. Like, imagine if a giant picked off all your limbs and you were just a body. Like, nobody would want that. That's what Saturn does with normal people. So Saturn stalks Kuma for years and years trying to figure out what the fuck the most important thing in his life is, and that ended up being Ginny. Ginny is like a big sister to Kuma, even though she was pretty obviously romantically interested in him. So in Saturn's mind, if he wants to hurt Kuma in the most disgusting way, Ginny is the key to that. He kidnaps Ginny, does experiments on her, possibly gets her pregnant, and experiments on that kid too. Just fucking terrible, terrible shit. And on top of everything, Ginny essentially dies from all of the experiments done on her and barely gets back to Kuma alive. Saturn was really experimenting and giving devil fruit powers to a fucking newborn baby. Possibly his own kid as well. So clearly, I was kind of suspicious of this before, but celestial dragons really do not give a fuck about children. That's why Shanks ended up in that chest and in Roger's possession. Garling doesn't fucking care about his children. There is no way he is any better than the Gorosei and other celestial dragons. Just because he's civil and not fucking stupid doesn't mean he's awful. But this isn't about Garland. So Kuma is forced to raise the possible child of his biggest op, his biggest hater, the guy who was setting out to make Kuma's life as horrible as possible, and he does a pretty damn good job of raising her, by the way. But of course, she ends up with a sapphire scale disease, from all the damn experiments done on her mom. I guess it's genetic, I don't know. That had to have planned only to cause more suffering for Kuma, because now, this problem that was caused by Saturn, Kuma has to set out and find a solution for it. And there's no cure for the disease. And guess what? Saturn's the only guy with a cure to it, and he comes up with a solution to the problem that he created, which ends up making even more problems for Kuma. Kuma literally made a deal with the devil to save the devil's daughter. I mean, hypothetically, if Bonnie is Saturn's kid. And that brings us to now. Kuma is about to beat Saturn's ass, hopefully. I really hope this fucker dies. I haven't really felt this way about any villain in One Piece, mainly because there hasn't been one like Saturn up to this point. Every villain has to go through some kind of hard-ass time to shape them into the villain that they become. Saturn, from what we know, was just kind of born at the top of the world and just causes issues to fuck with people. This is like Elon Musk being a supervillain. He's a villain. Like, why? Why are you a fucking villain? Like, what's the point? Who made you like this? He is the villain of villains. He's the root of all of this. I guess it's not just him, it's also the other Gorosei and Eam, but still, it's fucked. But yeah, I wanted to make a little short video about this bastard. Go sub to my second channel. I'm making the One Piece spoilers. I guess there's not going to be spoilers for a mean-ass minute, but I might make other shit over there at some point, and I think I'm going to move everything over there. But yeah.